Happy Bi-Visibility Day! It's the best day of the year! Hello everyone, welcome back to another video and what I'm hoping will be an annual video. This is the second year in a row, so not long till it's a tradition, of Bi-Visibility Day recommendations! Yay! As you can hear, my voice isn't 100%, so that's why I'm a little bit croaky. The flag is up. It's not straight, but neither are we. And yes, I will make the same joke every year because you know what? It's a good joke. It's a good joke. I mean, it's not, but it is. I have plenty of books to talk about, so without any further ado, let's discuss some books. The first book to talk about is actually one that was on my TBR of last year's video, so a nice full circle moment. And when someone says a book with good bi representation, this is the book that springs to mind, and it is Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. This is a YA contemporary high school story about a teenage girl who is openly bi and in love with her female best friend, and she has like a secret love guru thing going on. So she answers people's relationship questions. She has a secret locker she runs all of this out of at school, and people put in their questions and their payment and she helps them out and solves their problems. One of the people who asks for her help is one of the sort of jock popular guys at school, and she gets swept up in helping him and develops some feelings for him along the way. What I love about this book, it's so good, it's brilliant, and it is so rare to find good bi rep in an MF romance, or just good queer representation, wider queer community. For a book to feel like a queer book while still having an MF romance is glorious. We love to see it. This book did that so well and dealt with the character kind of dealing with the fact that she's having a crush on a boy for the first time since she came out, and she starts to reevaluate her position in the queer community and among the friends that she has found since she's come out. And what I loved is that they were all so affirming and wonderful, and yeah, it was kind of cheesy but never like too cheesy. It was just so great. It was so great. I love this book. The next one is kind of on a sort of similar-ish vein. It's double booked by Lily Linden, and this is about a young woman. She's in her sort of mid to late 20s, and she has lived a fairly bog-standard heteronormative life up until now. She lives with her boyfriend, who's hopefully soon going to be a fiance. She is a piano teacher, and one day she sort of develops a little bit of a crush on a woman and joins a lesbian band in order to spend more time with that woman. And so she has this double life with her boyfriend and all of his friends who are almost all straight and living in that community, and then her band that she's with and all of her new friends in her new life and all of that community, and trying to balance those two things. And of course, in one big glorious metaphor, she realises she can't because they're not separate things, and you know, it's all part of one person. And I got so frustrated with the main character. I got so frustrated with her. Yeah, it was definitely, I don't know if she was a likeable character. I feel like I would be friends with her, but I would spend my time being like, come on, you're better than this, you know? That was the vibe. But it was such a great read, and again, a really kind of, it was very specifically about her sexuality and her community and finding that community and that kind of peace within herself about that. So the first two are very much about being bi and queer, and that was a very big theme in the story. The next one, not so much. And it's a very famous book, very well loved book, and I never see it being talked about as a queer book, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This one is much more a book where some of the characters happen to have had relationships with people of the same gender and are currently in a relationship with someone of a different gender. It's very much an incidental thing. It's just part of the characters and their pasts and their stories. I think it has been a while since I read it. There is a reference to Addie having had a girlfriend in the past. She's been with women as well as men. But also the love interest, Henry. I'm going to double check that name, but I think it's Henry. It is Henry, I got it right. Henry's previous relationship before his relationship with Addie was with a man. And again, it's just part of his character, part of who he is. It's never a big thing. It just is. And that's great. We love it. We need everything. We need all of it. Everything. We're going to veer into the realms of fantasy for the next couple. So first up is Windfall by Shauna Barnett. It's historical. It's fantasy. It's pirates. It's queer. It's sapphic specifically. Basically, if you're still recovering from black sails, this is the one to go for. I was completely gripped from the absolute get-go, and there's a slow burn romance between a pirate captain and a princess. And when I say slow burn, I mean slow burn across the series, not just in the book. So you're in for the long haul with this one because the second book doesn't come out till next year. I am already counting down. I cannot wait to find out what happens next. But yes, for fantasy, pirate lovers, this is one to check out. And lastly, on the kind of main part of the list, The Chosen and the Beautiful by Ni Vuo. This is a Great Gatsby retelling with a fantastical twist, and it's told from the perspective of Jordan Baker. And I'm finding this is a general theme in Great Gatsby retellings that, I mean, it's a very easy book to kind of explore queer themes with, right? I think it's accepted by a lot of people that the characters in Great Gatsby aren't exactly, you know, the straightest of people. And especially with characters like Nick and Jordan herself, we get to just explore their different relationships with each other in a different light from in the original Great Gatsby. But the fantasy element of this is just so cool. I really, really enjoyed it. So yes, if you're looking for a good Great Gatsby retelling, if you watch my August wrap-up, you know I very recently read a very bad Great Gatsby retelling. This is a good one that you should read. On to the honorary mentions. So honorary mentions, I'm going to whisk through them. They're books you've almost certainly heard of if you spent 5 minutes on BookTube, BookTok, etc. But I still wanted to mention them. So quick fire, here we go. Number 1, Heartstopper. We've all heard of it. It's been talked about a bazillion times, but it was worth a mention also because it is brilliant representation, and the scene in the TV show where Nick comes out to his mum makes me cry every time. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Again, everyone has heard of this book. It's a sapphic romance with a ghost on the subway. Go read it. And They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. So popular that it's recently had a reprint with like collectible covers, however many years after it first came out, had a resurgence on BookTok. And it's in a world where you get a phone call the morning of the day that you die, and two boys meet on the day that they're going to die and strike up a romance. Those were the honorary mentions. So now onto some books on my TBR, which, now as I haven't read them, I can't speak for the representation, I can't speak for how accurate or the quality of it, but basically these were ones that came up on Goodreads as having by characters that are already on my shelves. So let's go through them. First, Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. I'm planning on reading this next month in October for obvious reasons. All the autumnal spooky vibes. And it's two witches plot revenge but end up falling in love in this magical romantic comedy. Of course I was going to pick it up. Of course I'm going to read it. What do you expect? And then Honey and Issues Guide to Fake Dating by Adiba J. Girdar. And this one, so I think one of them, yes, Honey comes out as bi. Her friends don't believe her because she's never dated a woman. So she has a fake relationship with a woman. So many things that I would love in a book. We love smashing stereotypes. We love proving people wrong when they are wrong. And, you know, being your authentic self regardless of your history. We also love fake dating. Can't wait. And finally, Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. I've had this on my shelf for months and I still haven't read it. I know. What am I doing? It's a very popular one, very talked about. Can't wait to read it. And that's it. That is the end of the video. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Ta-ra for now.